options. We have both online and in person, which you can get registered for just simply by reaching out to me. You can either call me or email me. And for the online, we do have it available where if you do it in a bulk purchase, then there's different tiered pricing depending on how many specific codes you want to buy. The breakpoints are pretty much at every notable number like 50, 100, 250, 500. And the price just goes down, 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 and down depending on how many people you want to pay for up front. In addition to that, we do offer it at 5 different locations. We offer it in Lehigh, Layton, Logan, Salt Lake, and St. George. So if you wanted to send some of your drivers through in person, just reach out to me prior and I can provide you with a full schedule for this whole year in addition to 2025, and we can get something worked out where we can get you your drivers in there and then build after the fact. Next, I'm going to be introducing our speaker, Martin Herrera. And what I'm going to do for that, instead of myself speaking, is I'm actually going to turn it kind of over to Brandon, digital Brandon, who's going to talk about Martin, who was bestowed an award at our award ceremony that we hosted back in August.
This first award, Community Impact Award, it's a new award for us, something we haven't given out before. But we recognized this individual's efforts, and we just had to put him up in front of you, you good people, to recognize what he has done. He specifically has served the Spanish-speaking community. Access to training, education, knowledge can be limited in the Spanish-speaking community. So his efforts have targeted the Spanish-speaking community to help recognize that lack of access. He saw the need and he made it his mission to spread awareness of safe driving habits and defensive driving practices. He is the embodiment of the Zero Fatalities mission statement. Martin Herrera. He works for Zero Fatalities. He offers his time and services to the Spanish consulate, as well as volunteers his time to us here at the Utah Safety Council, teaching defensive driving. His commitment to improving roadway safety and reducing fatalities is inspiring. And he didn't know he was getting this award, so it was a big surprise. Let's give him a big round of applause.
And giving him the award was actually my idea, so I gave him the most horrible surprise in the world. And if you want to watch that entire YouTube video, feel free to go check out our YouTube over at Utah Safety Council. And on there, we also have a bunch of different podcasts and other Start With Safeties that you're more than welcome to watch. We hope you watch when you're there. And for now, I'd like to introduce Martin Herrera, who's going to speak about achieving zero, trying to get zero fatalities on Utah roads.
Well, thanks everybody. This is not a surprise, so we've been talking about this. So I'm glad you let me know in advance for this. But again, my name is Martin Herrera, and then I work for Zero Fatalities. And I've been working for the program for the last 6 years and a half, mostly in the Hispanic community. Like you said, it's a mission, like Brandon said, it's a mission to me. I have a personal experience that I wish I didn't have. And I do this for I used to say that I do this for the kids. They started driving and teach them, educate them. But I also do this for the parents. You know, I do this for families, and they don't gotta go through the tragedy they don't have to go through what I've been through, me and my family. And you know, it's losing a family member in a car crash, and that situation is devastating. It's something that is not easy to recover, if you can recover. But again, you know, we are here to talk about the program. We're here to talk about zero fatalities for it's a program, it's a UDOT and DPS program. I always said that it's we are kind of cousins with you guys because we have our our main objective is pretty much the same, save lives, which I think is a very noble thing to do. And I really appreciate your help. I really appreciate what you've done for us, also for us, also as a personal level. I feel like home here. But again, we if we I like to remind you that 40,000 people died every year in the US due to car crashes. 40,000 people. That's a huge number. But I always like to mention that 2,000 people of those 40,000 is people going from work to home or vice versa. So in our presentations, because when we do like business presentations, we talk to companies about their employees and what the company is doing for their employees in order to prevent these accidents, in order to prevent these crashes causing these deaths. And not a lot of companies pay attention to that part of the job, like getting to the job site safe, getting to home safe at night. So we are losing 2,000 people every year due to different situations, different behaviors. But that's I would like to mention that we offer zero fatalities. We offer that to companies anywhere in the state. We can go and offer like a business presentation for their company, and we can do it in English, and also we do it in Spanish. Like if you have like a Spanish speaker employees, we can go and talk to them about the 5 different behaviors that are causing these crashes. So just so you know, in 21 we have 332 fatalities. In 22, we didn't do any better. We have 319 fatalities. 23, we had 281. And to this day, in 24, we have around 200 people that died in Utah due to car crashes. So we're not doing any better. We're doing something wrong. We are, and I always said, these are the numbers. These are the numbers of fatalities. But we're not talking about the families. We're not talking about the families that lost a family member. We're not talking about what's next after that. It's not pretty. It's not an easy thing. Nobody's prepared for that. Not a family, not a single family is prepared for that. We have different situations in life. Someone might be very sick. Somebody might be dealing with a very bad disease, and in some way you prepare for that end. But in a car crash, it's unexpected. Nobody prepares you for that, and I'm gonna share a little bit of my story, and that's main reason why I do this. In 2013, my daughter, she was 18 years old, good girl. She was going to college. She was helping me. We have a great relationship. We were tight. We were friends. Sometimes she covered for me, sometimes I covered for her. And sometimes we spend hours watching TV, which she thought it was kind of like crazy, because she said, "You and me watching TV at this time?" And sometimes she said, "Crazy, Dad, I'm texting you instead of my friends." So that was kind of our relationship. She was my oldest. We were very young when we had her, so we kind of grew up together. She made me change my life. She was my angel. And then one night, everything changed. 2 cops came to our front door to to tell us then. And she was not coming home anymore. I wouldn't see my daughter again. Because she died in a car crash. Last night, she died on impact. I couldn't see her again. I was not able to see her, touch her again. I give her a good last goodbye. The damage on her body was pretty bad, so we couldn't open the casket. I couldn't see my angel for one last time. So I had to make a decision because everything went downhill after that. We lost everything in 3 years. We lost it all after the accident. In 3 years, we didn't have a place to live because it's not only losing a child, it's losing your desire to live. It's losing your motivation. So you don't want to get up in the morning. How can you function like that? So I had to make a decision. Either I can stay like this for the rest of my life, or I got to do something with the tragedy. And then I would say Zero Fatalities found me, and I found Zero Fatalities. I work with great people. They are very committed to our mission, and I love working with them. So I started with the program more than 6 years ago, but my idea was always to bring the program to the Spanish community. Because there's not a whole lot of information. There's not a whole lot of education in our own language. So, and then we started knocking some doors and asking for some help to do the Spanish program, and we got it. We've been working with the Spanish, with a whole Spanish program for 3 years now. We've presented in, we started with 2 high schools. Only we had Ogden and Ben Lomond, Ogden High School and Ben Lomond in Ogden. And now we have more than 32 schools, and we're working together. Also, we work with the Mexican consulate, we work with the Peruvian consulate, and the El Salvador consulate now. We are in almost, I would say that pretty much in every major Hispanic event through the state. So we will share our information. But one thing I would like to share with you is if you go to a regular presentation, like Zero Fatalities presentation in a high school, and you ask the parents if they know about the program, if they know about Zero Fatalities, 98% of the parents, they raise their hand. But if you go to one of my presentations in Spanish, when I ask, nobody. So I think for that reason, and I think the program is really, really important in Spanish. And then we've been doing it here with the defensive driving course, which I think it's been great. But the good thing is I've seen changes now. Now I ask, after 3 years, 4 years doing the Spanish program, I've seen some changes. I asked people, have you heard? We had our biggest presentation last week in Granger High School with 140 people there. So I asked if any one of them has heard about the program, and a few people raised their hands. And one of the ladies said, yeah, you came to my school and gave a presentation. I said, okay. So it's working. It's working, slowly working, but at the end, that's what we want. So again, that's the reason why I do this, is for the kids and the parents. And thanks to people like you, thanks to the team in Zero Fatalities, I think we are making a lot of progress in our community. I think we are on our way to do something good, at least to teach and educate. I mean, we all share the same roads. Why not, right? So So thank you very much for the invitation. But in our presentation, again, in our school presentation and our business presentation, we cover the 5 different behaviors, which you can see it all here. And then we discuss one by one. The drive focus, right now, what is one of the biggest problems? It's texting and driving, right? So you see people every day texting and driving. And then that's what we share these tips with these recommendations for people not to get distracted, because not only the phone, it's not only the phone, it's anything that takes my attention. Like I saw a man the other day here in Salt Lake shaving. So yes, he was on a stop on 13. It was on where it's Walmart and 13 and it is 300 West. Yeah, there was a guy shaving. But again, anything that takes our eyes off the road is considered a distraction. But one thing I always mention in my presentation is never reach for anything. I mean, it's already there. There's no point. You spill your coffee, what are you gonna do? Clean it up on the road? I don't think so. So find the spot, pull over, and do your thing, right? But those are the recommendations without. Drive calm, we used to call this aggressive driving. And the tips we have, recommendation we have is plan ahead. Use the time to make it on time. Don't use speed to make it on time, right? So, and one thing I always share, especially in our school presentation with kids, and I'm going to share this with you. It's in the police report of my daughter's accident. I never read it. I never opened it. That envelope still somewhere, but I never opened it. It's not going to change anything. Very detailed, very graphic. I don't think a parent needs to see that. So one thing and after the investigation, one of the officers in the investigation, he came and talked to me because they couldn't find. I mean, she was speeding, but they couldn't find like a final conclusion about what really happened. And a few days later, one officer came and talked to me, and he said, I'm not in official business. I'm here as a parent, as a father too. But I had this thought in my mind for the last few days about your daughter accident, and he said, is there any way or that she could be going through some emotional problems? Because to me, in my experience, he said, the only thing that makes sense is if she could be crying at the time. And then she was going through some hard stuff. But I always mention that to kids, especially kids, teenagers. That's a very difficult age in every aspect. So I always mention, if they feel emotional, they feel like can drive, don't drive, call the parents, call someone. Not gonna make it on time. I'll be late, or come and get me. Simple as that. So, but that's one of the recommendations we do. And then be patient. We see people all the time. People all the time. We always have that driver behind us with the lights and the clouds and honking us, and so be patient. And that causes this road rage. Couple days ago, we had some driver. I don't know the details, but I think I saw something on the news about driver pulling a gun or something. So let's not get into that. So that's what we recommend. Avoid it. let him go, you know? So that's our recommendation in that case. Just go. There's no need, no need for a fight with, like I always say, people that I don't know, you know, people that I never seen before, and probably I will never see it again. And then losing lives because of that, because of change of lane or anything, I don't think it's worth it. So that's our recommendation: avoid retaliation, breathe, and carry on. Go home in one piece. Go home safe, right? So, uh, and drive sober. This is uh, this is one of the problems also we have in the Spanish community because of a cultural thing. Um, uh, and uh, and I say this often. You know, as we had an event in Delta, and Miller County Sheriff was there, and he was sharing some of the stories about immigrants that new to the country, they don't want to adapt, they just drinking and driving, they don't want to get a driver license. So he's working a lot on that side and that part, to educate people about it's not okay to drink and drive. You know, my recommendation is always, well, we're here now, you know, so we got to follow the law to be okay. So, but just a reminder that Utah is the most strict law in the United States about alcohol. We have only 0.5. So also prescription drugs and medication that it can cause nausea or put us in a bad state so we can drive. That's not drive, you know, because it can get us into a DUI just because of that, and a DUI without the fun. So it's not worth it. So, so we have a few tips, but I think on the main thing here, and we talk with it, especially with teenagers, don't get in a car with an impaired driver. It's huge for kids. Sometimes they don't recognize, and my recommendation to them is always, even if it's family, whoever is driving, and if it's impaired, is drunk or high in drugs, then don't. If it's a friend, you know, if you think that you've seen it, then don't get into that car. It's gonna kill you for sure. So check all the labels and the medication. And we had a Facebook Live a couple, like 3 weeks ago, the Mexican consulate, and there was a highway patrol trooper with us that day, and always the audience always trying to push the limits. You know, how many drinks can I have? How much alcohol can I have? You know, and I think he came out with a perfect answer at the time. He said, none, zero. Why you need to be like right on the limit? He said, once we pull you over, you're already in trouble. So none is better than something, than a little bit. So if you are planning to drink, then don't drive. That's it. You know, that's the best recommendation. And I think to me, that was the perfect answer ever. Say, don't drink, just nothing, zero, none. So I think it's a good thing. Drowsy driving, we might think that it's not a big deal, right? But it is a big deal because every year we have fatalities in our roads because drowsy drivers. And just remember, this can happen. So that's a pretty good example of it happen when you fall asleep behind the wheel. And this is yeah, that's pretty impressive, right? Yeah, what do you think? Yeah. You fall asleep, hit the barrier on the side of the road, and that happened. Luckily, we didn't have fatalities that day because if you can see it, it went through the passenger side. Otherwise, wouldn't be here. And then those are the recommendations we do. Remember, nothing is gonna help us except take a little nap. 25 minutes, half hour of sleep, that's gonna save us. That's gonna put us fresh again on the road. Um, it was a parent in one of the presentations we had. It was a parent here in the West Valley. He said he ate like a jalapeno when he was drowsy, and he said, "Oh, you're gonna crash with your mouth burning, but it's not gonna save you." You know, I mean, no coffee, no nothing is gonna save you except pull aside of the road, take a few minutes, and take a nap. That's the only thing is gonna help you. So, but you all know that. It's I hear all kind of excuses, you know, but that was a very good one. Like, really? So you're gonna crash like with your mouth burning, brother. But so, and then our last behavior is a seatbelt, drive buckle. And then just just a little reminder, the force you'll need to remain on your seat. You know, that's pretty, like, how are you gonna stay on your seat, you know? And just an example, if you weigh 130 pounds, you're traveling 60 miles an hour. That's 60 miles an hour. If you're driving 80 miles an hour, then we got a problem. So how many pounds of pressure do you need to exert and not to move around the vehicle in case of a crash? And then 7,800 pounds. So I don't think anybody can hear, not even all together, right? But sometimes I feel like that. But you know, we our recommendation, our tips is very simple. Click it. That's it. You know, it's not that hard. It's the easiest thing to do when we're driving. To be honest with you, just buckle up. And especially on our presentations, I go a little more with the teenagers, with the students, because they tend not to buckle up. I mean, we all were teenagers once, right? And that's one of the complaints I hear about from the parents. When we talk about the seatbelt, they immediately look at the kid, see, or kids looking at the parent. Sometimes because we are not a good example. But also, I would like to mention that we offer our presentations to anybody, to any company that's requiring. We go through the state. We can do it in Spanish. We can do it in English for companies. We've done it with a couple of companies that we met here at the Utah Safety Council. We went and do a presentation for their employees, or the Spanish-speaking employees, which I think is a great idea. Just remember, especially in our community and the Spanish speaking, there is a lack of education, you know, in driving. Coming from a different country, you see a lot of people that they never had a car on their own country. They use public transportation. They use some other ways to get home or get to work. But at the same time, what we're doing, the zero fatalities, what we're doing here at the Utah Safety Council, I think is a great thing. I think we are on our way on our road to zero. I think it's very important of what we're doing. But I wanted to thank you. I wanted to thank you for you've been doing. I think the car seat checkpoint we had in Ogden, I think it was great. I think it was fun running from one car to another. And I think it was you know, especially since we see a lot of, I don't know if you remember, but we saw a lot of these families coming with no car seats at all. And And speaking to a couple of those families, they didn't know. They didn't know they needed a car seat. They heard, they say, oh, they're giving car seats there. And they came, but they had no idea that it was required by the law. That is, you need to have a car seat. So, and it's not only because of it's the law, but it's the safety of your kid. I can imagine. I can imagine, uh, you know, being involved in small, little, almost nothing car accident and kill your kid because it's not properly restrained. Losing one kid is enough. Killing them is a different thing. I again, I wanna say that I couldn't save my daughter. She died on impact. I couldn't save her. There was nothing I could do. And but I know of what we're doing as a team together, working together, we can save lives. I couldn't save her, but I can save you. I couldn't save you. Like I can save whoever is listening. And I'm gonna keep doing this until my last day. Because I don't want any parent to go through that. I don't want any family losing a family member, because at least not because we're not doing our job. But I think everybody here is doing their job, and I really appreciate that. Let's make zero our mission. Let's make zero fatalities. That our statement, our way of life. You know, it's amazing. In the last 4 years, we almost had 1,000 people that died here in Utah, or more. Can you imagine? 94% of that people could have been saved. 94% out of 1,000. But again, 94% of those families, they'll be happy. They'll be okay. Losing a child in a car accident is not okay. Life changes, and it's not for good. So that's what I do this, and that's why I'm gonna keep doing it from wherever I am. And I appreciate you. I love being here. And I thank you again for the opportunity to share the message. And then again, if you need a presentation for your business, or for your Spanish speaker or speakers, or English, we do both. We have a big team at Zero Fatalities. It's not only me. And they are great. So, but thanks again. You guys have a great day. Thanks for the opportunity. Again, thank you. Thank you much.
Question. I have a teenager.
Yes.
He buckles up, but he always puts the strap behind his shoulders, no matter what. Okay,
It's not gonna work.
And that he can be paralyzed, it's not gonna protect here, the airbag comes out, he's all the way forward. What can I do to get him to keep that seatbelt behind his back?
You're the mom. Take the phone away. Take the phone away. Threaten me. You know, in the case of the car seats, because especially for these kids and, you know, families new to country, they struggle to keep the kid in the car seat, you know, but it takes around 5 days for the kids used to it. In the case of teenagers, you gotta apply some rules, you know, as a mother. Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to give any parent classes, because I will be the very last one to do that. I'm not perfect as a parent, but not the worst. But I would say, talk to him. How old is he?
16.
16. She's driving.
Yeah, he drives.
He's driving. So he went to a Zero Fatalities presentation. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know, I should just get him in our live at 25.
Yeah. Because and the numbers don't lie. You know, teenagers, they don't like to be buckled because it's kind of like, oh, I'm being restrained again. You know, by my parents. But just remember, you know, if you are a good example and you teach him, you talk to him, show him some videos. We have great videos of what can happen. I can share it with you of what can happen if you don't have. Just remember, the seatbelt is not going to work unless it's properly used. You know, shoulders uh, to the waist and so from side to side. But it's the only way it's going to work if we are wearing it properly. I mean, again, you know, but for teenagers, it's really, really hard. Good luck. So, any more questions? No, thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Martine. And what you're going to see behind me now is our next Start with Safety. We're going to actually be talking about holiday food safety. So please join us on November 6th, where we look forward to having you there. And for now, we're signing off. So stay safe, and we'll see you next time.